and I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Stephanie Schmit. I am a math and science tutor, and I have long COVID and ME/CFS and, a whole host of some other things. But I love learning science and explaining science. And so the process, generally speaking, is that we have a nebulizer, which is going to spew out aerosol particles with either the bitter solution or the saccharine solution. You stick your tongue out, and if you can taste either the sweet or the bitter, then your mask does not fit. If you can't taste it, well, then your mask passes the fit, but there's assuming you can taste it yourself. So there's a couple steps. The first step is to make sure that you can taste the solution at all and to figure out what concentration to use. And then the second step is to do the fit test with your mask. And today we are sponsored by Target. Just kidding, we're not sponsored by Target, but you need a bag to put over your head. Make a little hole in the bag. And that's where you're going to be spraying in the nebulizer solution. I'm snipping a small hole in the bag. Small hole in the bag. And I get to show off my cute little beaker. This just says water in it. So when you buy your nebulizer, these are like $40 on Amazon. I'm sure there's lots of different kinds. I will talk a little bit later about how it works and what I do know and what I don't know about it so far. But any liquid that goes in here will get sprayed out into a fine mist. And you press the button on the front, and here comes out the mist. Any liquid in here sprays out a fine mist. This is just water. If you spray out the bitter solution into your living room, you will be tasting bitter. The bitter is very bitter. It is the most bitter substance that exists. As far as I know, there are 8 bitter receptors on our tongue that all respond to the Bitrix. It's used in nail polish so that you can stop biting your nails. You need to bite your nails. It's really bitter. It's gross. Then it gets on everything. So if you have your roommate has the nail biting problem, then you get little bitter things on everything. So I am in my 1-room apartment. So I am not going to use the bitter because otherwise I will be tasting bitter for the rest of the day while it's just in the air. But it's kind of demonstrates how well COVID and aerosol particles can stay in the air. If for hours later you occasionally walk into a part of a room and then, bitter. And it's like, well, that could have been a COVID particle that was lingering in the air for hours. So I'm using the saccharine because I don't want to taste bitter for the rest of the day. But you can always check your nebulizer to make sure it's working with water. Bitter is much easier to tell if you are tasting it. Some people get anxious when they're testing it. They stick their tongue out. Am I tasting it? Am I not tasting it? Is the taste in my mouth because I just ate lunch? So you always need to wait at least 15 minutes so that from eating or drinking something that's not water so that you can make sure that your mouth has no taste in it, and you'll be very able to taste either the bitter or the saccharine. But the bitter is very distinct. About 1% of people cannot taste the bitter. It's like one of those genetic things where you're not able to taste it. And so those people would have to use saccharine. All right. So the saccharine is sweet and low. So I pre-prepared this. It's, I forget the ratio, but there will be notes. It's distilled water that's warm and sweet and low packets. So about half an hour ago, I just boiled some distilled water, put in a bunch of sweet and low packets. The sweet and low doesn't all quite dissolve. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but you want to just only pour the clear part where it's really well dissolved into the nebulizer. The other downside to saccharine is that it clogs the nebulizer more easily. So if you're doing an event where you are going to be doing this for hours with lots of people, then the saccharine is more likely to clog the nebulizer. But if you're just one person at home, it doesn't really matter. Okay, I am pouring it in here. Whoops, it's dripping. Okay. And then these nebulizers, they all have a little thing to close. So you pour it in, you close the lid, then it snaps shut. This button is not the button that you use to turn it on. This button releases the top so you can clean it more easily. This button is the button that you want to use. And some nebulizers have one setting, some nebulizers have two settings. So this one has two settings, and the first, it's like high and low. So as long as you use the same one for your sensitivity test and for the mask fit test, then you're fine. All right, you're not going to be able to see me, and let me know if you can hear me, okay? I have a microphone that I can put closer. So for the sensitivity test, this is no mask. All you're doing is checking that you can taste the solution and how many sprays you need. So I guess I will show you before it is on me. You're going to hold the nebulizer a couple inches away from the hole, and it'll spray in. I think the reason we hold it a couple inches away is so that it mixes with the air and is a good concentration, but that's something I don't know exactly for sure. I'm sure that if you put it directly up to the hole, you will still have a concentration of the sugar or the Bitrix inside the mask. Inside the hood. But you don't want, we want it to have a uniform concentration in the air. Okay, no mask, hood over the head. Your hole should go by the ear. But I want to be able to see the hole. Easier with two people, but here we go. So I spray it in. I'm sticking my tongue out. All right, so I had to hold it there for quite a while, like, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds, and until I could taste it sufficiently. So with the bitter, I tasted immediately with like half a second of spray. So I've determined with my sensitivity test that I need this nebulizer on the first setting for 10 seconds until I can taste it with no mask. So we're going to do the same situation with the mask on, and just for a safety factor, I'm going to also do it again with more. All right, this is a mask I'm excited to test. Haven't tried it on yet. It is a Blox duckbill. I have I'm quite tiny. I have problems with the elastics being too long. And you are going to want to test your mask with the same hairstyle and straps as you would typically use. So, all right, I like to put both straps above my ponytail, usually. All right, let's try it out. Oh, quite comfy so far. And then got to make sure you get all the gaps out. I'm liking this mask. Okay. Now let's see if it passes. I'm sticking my tongue out. One very little. I think it ran out of solution. Nope, it still has solution. Let's see what's going on. So I'm going to put my hand behind it so I can see if it's really we're in a troubleshooting phase right now. Okay, so here's the troubleshooting phase. It looks to me like there's nothing coming out of the nebulizer. So I'm assuming it got clogged. But it's hard for you guys to tell on the camera. Okay, seems like it's working now. Try again. Bad news, I tasted the sugar. So this mask does not fit. I don't know where it's not fitting. So there's a simplified method with no... oh yeah, I could try putting this one down here, but for me, my neck is so tiny that it just is very loose, this elastic band. So it's possible that maybe I could tighten it and it could fit. If it was like, oh, that actually does feel better. So I could, I don't know, make a loop and a knot and tighten the straps. This is why I think that mask sample packs should be much more ubiquitous than they are. Okay, I don't really need to be wearing this mask. Oh no, I'm showing you the simplified method. The simplified method tells you where it's leaking a little bit. So with no hood, I'm going to spray, and I'm going to spray all along the entire perimeter. And then at the place where I taste it the most strongly, I can learn that that's the place where it's leaking the most. And maybe I can adjust it in some way that makes it fit better. I decided that strap wasn't working out. All right. All right, so that was interesting. It seems like this section and this section were the parts that didn't pass very well. So I'm going to move on to try a new mask. Oh yeah, mask tape can definitely help. I use mask tape a lot personally. These are the Champax masks. They have a bunch of nose cushions. Fitted nose cushion maximizes face fit and comfort. So I wanted to try these. Oh, and this is going to have a feature I really like because of the elastic. So you can, so the elastic is adjustable. That's great. I love that idea. And then inside, it's got this nice, big, comfy foam thing. So it would be super nice if this fit. Yeah, clean shaven applies to all chins. The width of a hair is enough to poke your mask out and make a little gap. So it doesn't matter. We all have faces and hair. Just wanted to say thank you, everybody, for caring about wearing a fit-tested mask and for masking and understanding the science behind why COVID is bad. And I would love for all of us to work together even more and put together resources for how to find masks that fit your face, how to find masks that are comfortable to wear for all day long, and how to make them look cool. I love all the mask chains and the mask jewelry that has been going on, and I would like to make a set of resources so that everybody can easily find all the different tips and tricks, like what to do with your hair, or that you have to be clean shaven, or some people with beards, there's a trick where you can use like a TheraBand And then you put that underneath your mask and it gets you almost a good fit. Or I think some people have passed a fit test with that. So keeping all of that information in the same place so that all of us can have the most comfy, well-fitted protective masks, and so that we can teach our friends to have comfy, well-fitted masks the most possible. Okay, quite comfy. Then I'm going to cinch it up. Having trouble with the cinching. Ooh. Oh yeah, so this one, because I can cinch it, putting it right behind my neck feels good. That's just my personal opinion. I like this. This is so much more comfortable than I wear a V-Flex normally. And that one does pass the fit test for me. But I don't like it because I get the pressure on my head is difficult for migraines and stuff. But this one's so comfy. Also, I only just recently learned that most people find duckbills more breathable. And that feels like information that, I should have had in April of 2020. But, we're all on the same page here. Okay, let's try it. I have enough solution in there. All right, good news so far. I did not taste the sugar, but that doesn't yet mean that it passes. You have to do a lot of stuff to make sure it really truly passes. And let me read out that list. You do normal breathing for 60 seconds, deep breathing. So you want to breathe in and out forcefully, because we all know as you breathe out, there's pressure on the mask, so it pushes it out. So when you're breathing out really hard, you could dislodge the mask. Then you have to do moving your head side to side, moving your head up and down. Oh, I can tell that it unsealed. Talking, I've been talking, but you want to try to talk with your mouth slightly open so your tongue is still exposed. Then there's bending over or jogging in place. I don't do those things. And any other positions that's useful. So, for example, if you sing and you want to make sure your mask fits while you sing, you should sing while you're in the hood doing the test. And then at the end of all of that, you do your normal breathing again. And so that's all about 5 minutes. I'm probably not going to do it in real time, but I'll do a partial. And if you did not taste any bitter or sugar during that whole 5-minute thing, then your mask passes. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to narrate, but you're not really going to be able to see anything. Okay, now I'm doing the talking portion, so I got to talk about something. I guess I'll tell you all that I'm a math and science tutor, and I have COVID cautious tutors. We teach math and science for grades 6 through 12 over Zoom. Or if you're in the Boston area, we would be happy to meet you with a fit tested mask. But, you know, I actually prefer teaching on Zoom. Okay, that's the end of my talking portion. Okay, so I think it passed. Yes, you do all the breathing things, each for 60 seconds. I didn't want to have you guys wait here forever. So I did them for however long I did them for. And I'll probably redo it again with the bitter solution when I am going to be out of my apartment, or I might do it on the patio because I don't like it when the bitter is in there. You don't need to do it indoors, but that is a really good point. I definitely need to turn off your ventilation while you do this, because you want the stream of stuff to go directly into your hood. And I was noticing that because of my air filters and the central AC, it was kind of going the wrong direction, which is why I put it really close to the... Someone asked me about mask tape. I use athletic tape, and I also use Topstick. Topstick is what people use to put toupees on the top of their bald heads, and costumers use to make sure that clothes stay in place. So it's like tape that goes really well on skin and attaches skin to stuff. And so that's why I use it for my masks. Yes, you have to rinse out your mouth after each test to get rid of the taste. If I had done this with bitter, I would have definitely had to wait, kind of just decided for sake of being as for being as fast as possible for your demonstration. I didn't wait to do that. And that's another reason I chose to use the sugar instead of the bitter today, because otherwise I would have been sitting here for 15 minutes eating sour gummy worms, waiting for the taste to clear out of my mouth. So actually, the first time that I did this, I did the bitters test on a completely different day. One day I woke up and I said, let's test to see if I can taste the bitter. I could taste the bitter. It's super gross. And then the next day I did the test with mask 1. And then the day after that, I did it with mask 2, just so that I could be really sure that I wasn't still tasting the bitter from the previous thing. MRI, I love the Ready mask. I absolutely love the Ready mask. I get migraines and the pressure on the back of my head is difficult. This mask feels so freeing. It feels like I'm naked. For a while, I was like, oh my God, am I wearing a mask? But when it comes to getting it stuck to your face, I can't, it doesn't stick to my face if I have used lotion in the past 24 hours. I also have skin tack wipes, which is rosin. It's like this sticky substance that circus performers use to hold on to aerial silks. But it's also a great sticky substance for making things stick. So I wipe it around where the Ready mask is going to go, and then I put my Ready mask on. I have a procedure for putting on a Ready mask too, by the way, so that you get all the adhesive to line up, and the video is on my TikTok, which I guess I will email you a link to my website, which has all my socials. So you can also please follow me. I will be attempting to make good videos with all this useful information. And if you have any other specific questions on the science or masks or anything, then I will try to do my best to help. So I ran a fit test event. We had 8 people come to my patio. We did all of this together, and everybody brought a couple of different kinds of masks to try. And then we had a little mask buffet, and everybody got to try a whole bunch of different kinds. So I would love it if we could coordinate more events like this, wherever it is that you are. I would be happy to teach you to run a fit test event. So right now, we just taught you to do a fit test, but I would love to teach you to do a fit test event after you've done it with you and a couple other people. And if we could get those events up and running around the world, then we could get people into fit tested masks, and we could get lots of people to try lots of different kinds of things. But what I think would be really cool is if you could get an app and you just take a picture of your face from all sorts of different angles, and then it pops up and it tells you, oh, based on your face, I recommend these 3 masks. And then if you could click order sample pack, and it gives you 3 of each of the 3 masks, and then it sends you a fit test kit. And if you don't return the fit test kit, it charges you, but otherwise it's free. Then that would be so helpful to getting people into fit tested masks. So, and masks that really fit your face. There's so much information, so many different face shapes, so many different masks. So, what do we do with masks that don't fit? I am sure that your local mask block would love to take any masks off your hands. And I believe there is a website that has a list of all the mask blocks, so you can find one in your area. Okay, I guess my last announcement is that I'm looking for volunteers to help with video editing for future videos that I'm working on, and also any other science or explanation, or people who just want to be involved. I would love to be put in touch, and I will email everybody my contact information and the link to my socials and the notes from this meeting, which include all the information that I've said. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you can find really good, comfortable masks.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.